or we can use the ES6 spread operator, which will basically pass them in all at once by using 3 dots like this. Let's save it. And we actually need to delete the products from our product item file since we're accessing the name and price directly from our props now. Save it, and now we see that everything displays correctly. Now let's create our onDelete method. It's going to take a name as a parameter, and let's just console out that name for now. Next, we want to pass this onDelete method into our product item component. And since we're eventually going to use this.setState in this method, we'll need to bind the context to this in the constructor first. So we'll write this.onDelete equals this.onDelete.bind this. Next, let's define the onDelete from the props. And then let's create a click handler for the delete button. Let's actually make it refer to an onDelete method in this file to avoid having to bind anything in the render method. So let's do onClick equals this.onDelete, and then let's bind this method in the constructor again. So let's do this.onDelete equals this.onDelete.bind this. Next, let's define the onDelete method, where we're just going to pass the name into the onDelete method that's being passed in as a prop from app.js. Let's do this.props.onDelete and then pass in this.props.name. And we can actually use destructuring to make this look cleaner. So const onDelete name equals this.props and then delete the this.props below. And now when we click on the delete button, we'll see that the name is logged to the console. Now let's define the onDelete method where the product will actually get deleted. First, let's clean up some code. We need the getProducts method to just return the list of products. So let's set the this.products in component will mount to be a variable, and let's move the this.setState up to component will mount. And then in getProducts, let's return the list of products. And then in onDelete, let's do products equals this.getProducts. And then let's do const filtered products equals products.filter. And then for each product, we only want the ones that don't match the name of the product we clicked to delete. And then let's console log that to make sure we're getting the array we expect. And it looks like we have an onDelete that we're not using, so let's first delete that. Okay, so now if we click on the delete button for a product, we can see that an array of just one product is correctly logged to the console. So then we want to set the state of products to the filtered products. And we actually want our getProducts to return the products from the state instead of from local storage, which we aren't actually updating in our app. So let's do a little bit of refactoring. Let's have our initial state in our constructor be directly from local storage. And then let's change our getProducts to get the products from this state. And now if we click on the delete buttons, the products will properly delete. Now let's write code to add a product to our list. Let's first create an onAdd method, and then let's create a new component for adding a product. Let's click New File, and then let's name this file additem.js. And then let's copy over the code from our other file to start us off. Let's delete everything we don't need. And then let's rename this component to addItem. And then in app.js, let's import addItem from /addItem. And then let's add this component to the render method in app.js. And then in add item, let's create an input with the placeholder name. Let's give it a title of add product. And let's actually rename this file to be add product. And then change all of the names we just typed to be also add product. Then let's go back to our add product file. And let's add an HR tag to separate it from the list. And then let's add another input for the price. And let's change the placeholder to be price here. And then let's add a button that says add. And let's actually change the surrounding divs to be forms so we can submit this by pressing enter. Now, let's go back to app.js and pass the onAdd method as a prop into the add product component. And we'll also need to bind this method in the constructor. So let's do this.onAdd equals this.onAdd.bind this. And then for the onAdd method, we need the name and the price of the product we want to add. And let's just console log the name and the price here for now. Now let's go back to the add product component, and let's add an onSubmit event handler to the form tag. That's going to be equal to this.onSubmit, which we will also bind in the constructor. So let's do this.onSubmit equals this.onSubmit.bind this. And then let's create the onSubmit method. It'll take an event. And we'll want to first do event.preventDefault to prevent the page from refreshing. And next, we want to get the value of the name and the price in the inputs. To do that, we'll add ref attributes to the inputs. So we'll do ref equals name input, and then this.nameInput equals name input.